Hey, cheater. Am I more bald than you remember? Ooh. I must be in a good mood or something. What's going on here? Music is loud. I know you are, but what am I? All right, welcome to Booktendo. We'll talk about the book. We'll talk about Toronto. And might even talk about the Grammys, if anyone cares. I fell asleep, so I actually don't even know who won. All right, turns out these glasses aren't prescription, so I think I'm gonna have to change. Now I can see you. Oh no. I thought that would be better. Beyonce, Kendrick, and... Okay, save it. Cool it. We gotta talk about books first. You know, for the smart people. So, did you read The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway? 17% of you said yes. 59% of you said no. 24% of you lived the book by drinking every day. I'm sure you're just being silly and you're not all alcoholics, right? Is that correct? I hope. I thought young people, I mean, some of you are young. Yeah, young people just don't really drink anymore, right? Actually, here's a poll. I know you didn't read the book, most of you. Do you drink alcohol? Do you drink alcohol? Yeah, pretty often. Rarely. Or no. I don't drink. I'd probably answer rarely here. I don't drink much. Only when Shrimpley's working the bar, you know? Sometimes I try drinking wine to feel fancy, and then I just have a big old headache. My head feels like it's gonna explode. I think it's the sulfites. Aren't you wearing a shirt from a seltzer company? Non-alcoholic, baby. Talking about Mountain Dews, baby. Might as well go for a soda. Nobody hurts, nobody cries. I have a lot of fancy alcohol, but I rarely drink it. When I drink alcohol, I will drink your fancy alcohol. But generally speaking, I don't really drink regularly. And I've been told I should only buy Canadian alcohol now. Because patriotism. Diet Coke is my drink of choice. Are you saying it's my drink of choice or your drink of choice? Because it's also my drink of choice. All right, book club. I picked The Sun Also Rises as the first book of the year for a few reasons. One, because it's in the public domain, and I only picked it kind of late, so I thought it would be an easy book for people to access. And I also picked it because I find Hemingway very readable. Although I'd only read... The only Hemingway I have read before this was The Old Man and the Sea. But I do very much appreciate his style. I can appreciate a very descriptive, romantic, verbose style of writing. That's flowery and descriptive. like, you know, Proust, like The Remembrance of Things Past. First 50 pages of that book is just like a guy describing what it feels like to wake up and like not really know where you are in a room. So it's pretty beautiful. It's great. But I like Hemingway that it's like, we woke up to see the bulls. I had a glass of wine. We departed for the bulls. The water was cold. I caught a fish and it was cold from the cold water. Like, I love how completely devoid of anything superfluous it is. You know what I mean? It's the opposite of academic writing that is a lot of words without any meaning. It feels like there's so much meaning that you have to... Some of the meaning's not even on the page. Yeah, this is his trademark style. Anyway, so The Sun Also Rises is Hemingway's first novel, and a lot of people think his best. It is I think the term is roman à clef. It's a story based on true events, but the names of the people have been changed. And the easy way of summarizing the book or saying what the book is about is to say it is about the lost generation. And the lost generation, broadly speaking, is a term used to describe the first generation of people born or who came of age in the 19th century. No, the 20th century. People who became adults in the very early 1900s. Post-war youth. Or not post-war youth. They were people who went off to fight in the First World War. In the context of this book, it is used, and in the epigraph, it's a quote attributed to another author that she describes Hemingway and his contemporaries as this lost generation, and that's used in a maybe not derisive, but almost a sort of sympathetic way to describe people who really were lost and aimless after the First World War, and how that First War did sort of upend a lot of people's norms or expectations or ideals about what they wanted in life, or the sort of traditions and values and religion and things that sort of grounded your expectation for what it was to live a good life. And they came out of the war with no real sense of purpose. And a lot of people, I guess, wandered around Europe working and drinking and living very hedonistic lifestyles. And that is mostly what this book is about. It is a very literal description of a group of people living in Paris and visiting Spain who have very little meaning in their lives. Marin, I did not like this book. Yeah, I kind of get that. I think one reaction I think you see a lot about this book is people just saying that they kind of hate everyone in it. And some of that is because, you know, it was just written at a time where people were very different. Like, the book is offensive in several ways, I think just due to the time period in which it was written. And also when you're talking about people who were sort of scarred by the war and became, you know, kind of empty shells of people just looking to drink and do anything pleasurable. Yeah, we are talking about kind of it's people like devoid of values. It's not hard to find flaws in these people. I'm surprised people don't have a little bit more sympathy for them given the context of the war. But I guess that's something you have to bring to the table, because the book isn't hitting you over the head with the fact that all these people were destroyed by the war. It's mostly unsaid. Even our main character, our narrator, Jake Barnes, he was injured in the war, and it's never explicitly said, but it is very clear in the subtext that injury rendered him impotent, and his relationship while he was injured, he met a woman who was a nurse in the war. This Lady Brett is the main female character in the novel. It's clear they have a love for each other, that if he were not impotent, they would possibly be together, but she wasn't willing to sacrifice not having that in her life. Because her flaw seems to be that she is trying to fill whatever hole exists in herself by just chasing or being pursued by men or pursuing men for carnal pleasures. So one big aspect of the novel is just Jake's inability to consummate his love interest. And it's, I guess, the most explicit depiction of like what his character, I think, is supposed to represent, which is just this sort of detachment, that the way he has decided to approach life after the war is to just not let himself care about anything too much so he can't get hurt. But that's a good way of, living a very meaningless, not fulfilling life. Yeah, I guess I don't even need to continue that sentence. I guess the other character that I think should be mentioned, because he sort of presents as a foil for the whole story, and in some ways the novel is sort of organized around him, but Jake's friend, Robert Cohn, is described as this like very sort of pathetic figure that nobody likes. And like sort of the opening chapter is just Jake describing all the things he doesn't like about this guy. And then the chapter sort of ends, or you realize halfway through the chapter that they're friends, that they hang out and drink together and have dinner. And so like a lot of the plot revolves around this Cohn character also falling in love with Brett, and her indulging this a little bit, but in a way that meant nothing to her. But for Cohn, this meant everything, and he spends basically the rest of the novel just not accepting the fact that the brief affair they had meant nothing to her, and he just sort of follows her around like a lost puppy in a rather pathetic way. Although he's a former collegiate boxer, so when he is towards the end of the novel, where he is sort of confronted about there's a sort of confrontation and a falling out around this whole thing, he is able to just beat everyone in fisticuffs, which is kind of funny because we think of him as this like kind of pathetic figure, but physically, in terms of being able to fight, he is tougher than all of them. Didn't he just abandon his fiancée to stalk Brett as well? It seems that way. Although he clearly, like, the fiancée is described as just like the first woman that ever paid attention to him. He just sort of fell into a relationship with, This book gave me men? ? Boo? Brett's pretty bad in this too, no? A lot of the novel revolves around every man in the book, almost, maybe except Bill, falling in love with this Brett character. Anyway, so all these friends who don't really like each other all that much, maybe, I don't know, doesn't seem like they really have that many attachment. They go to Spain to see bullfights. The most unenjoyable thing about the novel for me was the graphic depictions of bullfights, which I have no interest in. It's essentially just describing animal torture. So yeah, that was, I guess, my least favorite part. But basically, Brett finds like a 19-year-old bullfighter she kind of falls in love with, and decides to leave her fiance, this Mike character, for him. All the while, Jake is sort of like facilitating her, almost in like a cuckold sort of fashion. Like he facilitates her introduction or affair with this young bullfighter. almost like that's the closest he could come to consummating his relationship with her, is to basically arrange for her dalliance with another person. But she splits with this bullfighter anyway, and then she calls up Jake, and Jake gets on a train to go back to Spain to come to her rescue again, and it's like, oh, hey Jake, it's we could have had a really nice life, right? And he goes, isn't it pretty to think so? And that's the book. So what do you think? Is The Sun Also Rises? The title of the novel is also based on a passage from the Bible, I think. And that passage describes how generations come and go, basically. And so I think it could be read in a very pessimistic way, like this generation is just going to pass by with meaninglessness. Or I suppose it could be read in a slightly more optimistic way, that this nihilism will pass, and people will want to find meaning in life. What did you think? Did you like the book? I like how Hemingway writes. So I can enjoy it purely on a stylistic level. And again, I thought it made for a good first book of the year for that reason. It's easy to read. But it's the more I think about it, and I only finished it today, so I haven't really been able to steep on it too long. But it's quite a sad book if you think about it. Like, rather than just being disgusted or, I don't know, just thinking of how much I didn't like the characters, it's more just really sad to see people living such insincere lives, right? It sort of takes me back to why I liked Infinite Jest so much last year, because I thought so much of that book was about a rejection of living an insincere life. And that's an idea I find very compelling in literature. And if anyone hasn't read the book and is considering reading it, I guess what I'd say is it's kind of like being at a party when you're sober and everyone else is really drunk. That's kind of like what it is to read the book. And maybe you should consider being drunk while you read the book, if you haven't already read it. Just a suggestion. I wonder how that would change the experience. At one point in the book, it's describing Jake, like, after a night of drinking and he's about to pass out. He's like, so I read a book for a while, and the book was about whatever it was. Like, it has never occurred to me after a night of drinking, when I'm, like, very drunk, to get home and read. Just go read a book. Is drunk reading a thing? Well, I never. I think that Jake symbolizes a seeker in a company of bulls. I mostly think of Jake as just sort of that embodiment of the detachment. I thought maybe that Robert Cohn figure, their pathetic friend they don't like, I think maybe is supposed to represent, like, the more traditional values that just don't work in the cynicism and nihilism of a post-war context. I feel like I've seen this said anyway. I'm not sure, though. Drunk Booktendo when? I think Robert owns a fedora. Yeah, very... In a current context, it's easy to read that character as just some like pathetic incel. So maybe you want to recommend this book if there's a man in your life who is way too obsessed with a woman, puts a woman up on a pedestal. Maybe the first girl to ever put her hand down his pants, he just thinks that girl is the be-all and end-all. Maybe give him this book and you might realize he is a Robert Cohen. So most men? Is this your experience? Are most men very needy and clingy? Do they follow you around to Spain while you're with your boyfriend? Anyway, okay start to the year. I'll take it. I'll take this as the first book of the year. Reminder, we're doing all fiction this year. What is the next book? Oh, this could be a sad one. Is this going to be polarizing? February's book is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I think of all the books this year, this one probably deserves the biggest content warning. Because it does... I've heard people... I haven't read this book. I know people who've read this book who say its description of depression is such that it almost made them feel... I don't want to be hyperbolic here. I think it's a tough read and deals with someone going through a really hard time. So if you're maybe not in the best place, maybe it's not a book you want to read. It's a very sad story, and I believe biographically it's a sad story about the author as well, which I'll have to read more about after I read the book, before I read the book, I don't know. And then March is a new book, only came out last year, Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. And then I should change this because for April, I wanted to do science fiction to also go with watching movies that are science fiction. I found one by the same author as the author of The Martian, has a newish book out. I know someone who read it who said it was really good. And it is called... I don't know what it's called. What is that book called? Where did I talk about this? I think I said something about it recently. No. Project Hail Mary. Yes, thank you. Thank you for suggesting that. So yeah, I think I'll switch out April for Project Hail Mary. And yeah, most of the year has something. All right, how often do you drink? 21% pretty often, 49% rarely, 30% no. It's interesting. Only 20% of you drink regularly. I guess I'm not very surprised. All right, want to talk about Toronto? Toronto? We were in Toronto this weekend. I had a good time. We flew in instead of driving, so that was fun. I felt very fancy flying on a plane. Although all these stories about planes lately had me a little freaky deaky, you know? How long is the flight? The flight is like 45 minutes. So you spend more time going to and waiting in the airport than you spend on the plane. Did you take first class? Thing is, the planes that fly Ottawa to Toronto are these like tiny planes. They don't have first class. They have a few seats at the front that have like 5 centimeters more leg room than the seats just behind them. So yeah, like if I can, I'll get a seats near the front of the plane. Yeah, you get up in the air and then you start to descend, pretty much. Toronto super. How many people here were at the event? Were you at the meet and greet? I saw there's a Discord channel of just people posting them being there. So in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, Rashida wasn't there. Rashida, didn't you show up to hang out with people, but you didn't want to meet me? What's the deal with that? You know, I saw your picture and how you never smile. I think I could have gotten a smile out of you. I think if you were there, I could have made you smile. She got pho with us because we're cool. Oh, I'm not cool? What, I'm not cool enough for you? You only want to go eat pho? Pho. Anyway, so yeah, we had a meet and greet. Christine had a meet and greet at the DAVIDsTEA location downtown Toronto in the Eaton Centre, which must be one of the busiest malls in Canada. Not the biggest, but probably one of the biggest. I don't know. Famous. Right downtown. Some interesting characters there. Maybe we don't have to get into that. I don't know. Security. We had security. That was good. I always make sure we have security there. And they usually don't have to do anything. So, but it's nice to have them just in case they need to do something. Yeah, there was a... Yeah, okay. There was a guy security had to help move along. So yeah. And I always feel like super defensive. It's strange because I have to like... I don't have to. Like, I try to enjoy the experience and meet people, and I also like really appreciate that people are willing to give up a lot of their time to like wait in a line. So I'm like trying to make sure people are not miserable. So I'm like trying to, you know, I'm going around trying to talk to people, make everyone feel okay. And then I sometimes have to switch to just like something logistically needs to be done, or some guy is trying to enter the store and yelling gibberish. And yeah, I'm glad security was there. But this guy came a few times, like he came back more than once, and the second time I had to like push him out of the store. So that was a little weird. The security guard looked like you from the profile angle. No, I was the security guard. But anyway, it was a good time. I don't know why I'm talking about that. It was a fun time. I saw some people... Why am I talking about negative things? I just want to... Like, early on, I noticed some people maybe complaining or worried that people without wristbands were getting into the line. I promise you there was very little of that going on. And even though it looked like the line was enormous, our final count was... that less than 250 people were actually there at the end of the day. At the very end, we let in a few people who waited around without wristbands, just to take a little more time. But yeah, it doesn't take many people to make a line look very long. So, and it's hard. Like, Christine's not just trying to rush people through like a conveyor belt. She actually wants to have a nice real interaction with people. So that usually is like a minute per person on average, I'd say. And so yeah, even 200 people is already over that 3-hour mark. You know what I mean? So yeah, we did extend it. It went at least half an hour over, I think. So is that like 3.5 hours? But yeah, I heard from a lot of people just saying it would, like, the line wasn't the worst, just because like there's other people you kind of have a shared interest with, or you can share nails or be on your phones on Discord instead of talking to people, or whatever you're going to do. I think I kind of rushed my interaction with Christine because I was nervous and didn't want to waste her time, but she was super generous and slowed me down to ask my name and take a photo. Yeah, see, there you go. I think she sort of knows that a lot of people get up there and just are nervous. It's funny because, like, she's a pretty, I don't want to say anxious, but she can be a little socially awkward too, right? So I think maybe doing this has made her better at having conversations with people. I don't know. I think it was a fun time. I hope if you were there, you had a good time. I think it was a fun time. It's fun to put some bodies to names or faces to bubbles, to see you a little bit bigger than you are in those tiny little bubbles. It sometimes made me a little bit uncomfortable that I'd prefer to see you just as a tiny circle rather than a human being. Like, I like having that over you in a way, that like I am a physically embodied being. You are a bubble. You are peeps. Yeah, I had a good time. Everything's great. It was a good weekend. I don't know what else to say. Thank you to the DAVIDsTEA team for helping making it happen, because we've wanted to do something in Canada for a very long time, and it just never seemed like there was a reason to. So this was a really good reason to finally do that. Ben, do you have a goodie bag to mail me? What are we, pen pals? Save that $5 and wait, what was in the good? A pair of socks? Remind me what was in the goodie bag. Maybe we could work something out. There were socks, a DAVIDsTEA polish. I was the I remember the broken sunglasses girl. Didn't DAVIDsTEA lady say to maybe send her a message? There were stickers, socks, glasses, DAVIDsTEA nail polish, and stickers. Yeah, see, that's fun. Actually, I did take a goodie bag, but I think I'd be sending you mine, and I kind of want to wear these sunglasses. Maybe if you reach out to DAVIDsTEA, I mean, don't harass them, but maybe they have a goodie bag for you. Kelly said I could do, yeah. Kelly's, man, I've known Kelly at DAVIDsTEA, or Christina. The first time we ever did anything with DAVIDsTEA was with Kelly. So yeah, we go way back. Ben, how are Marin's cookies? Well, funny you ask. I wanted to ask your opinion. If someone just handed you a bunch of cookies on the street, would you eat them or would you think they're poison? I wanted to save it for this moment. Do you think they're past their prime? Like they would have been fresher 2 days ago? I kind of thought about that too, but I thought it would be more fun to do it live. There's so many cookies here, by the way. I think you said not in the fridge, right? Can I freeze them if I don't eat them all? Or can I give them away? Would you be offended if I gave them away? What should I try? I can't eat all of them. No fridge, yes freeze. Okay, there's a hot chocolate cookie, a pumpkin chocolate chip, oatmeal butterscotch cookie. Is that one cookie? Pumpkin chocolate chip oatmeal butterscotch. There's a peanut butter blossom Hawaiian white chocolate macadamia nut and pineapple molasses cream pie. That can't be one cookie. I think I'm reading this wrong. So pumpkin chocolate chip, then oatmeal butterscotch, then peanut butter blossom, then Hawaiian, then molasses cream pie, cookies and cream, and brownie. That's too many things. That's a lot. What's what? Okay, this looks like... I'm guessing this is pumpkin. Pumpkin chocolate chip. Oh, that looks good. That smells good. That's good. Consistency is interesting. Is it the gluten-freeness of it that makes it a little like spongy? Like what do you use instead of flour? What is a gluten-free flour? That's your great-grandma's recipe? Did you make your great-grandma make it? All right. I think this is a Hawaiian cookie. Yeah, they are very soft. They're a softer cookie, eh? Is this Hawaiian? Which is white chocolate, macadamia, and pineapple. Oh man, I hate pineapple. It makes my pee taste too sweet. I'm glad I can't tell there's pineapple, because I'm a sucker for macadamia. I think that one's better. I think so far it's macadamia pumpkin. What else do we got? Oatmeal. Oatmeal butterscotch. Is that right? All right, this one's less soft. Ooh. I do like an oatmeal cookie. I'm more of a oatmeal raisin kind of guy though, you know? I find butterscotch stuff usually kind of too sweet, to be honest. So I would steer clear of butterscotch. What am I missing here? We've got a... Is this a hot chocolate cookie? Is that what this is? Is this the hot chocolate? I don't know if I can have any more cookie after this. Is this peanut butter? Okay, can I end on peanut butter? This is peanut butter? Okay, I want to end on peanut butter. I can't just keep eating cookies. I can't have one bite of 17 cookies. All right, this is the best one. Oh, man. Why is peanut butter so good? It just unlocks something in your brain. Oh. All right, I need a cookie break. Sorry, I can't even do it all. Maybe when I was younger. But yeah, big shout out to Kith and Kin Bake Shop and Bistro, 100% gluten-free. If you need 27,000 cookies, talk to Marin. I have sugar on my hands. Can we circle back to the P comment? What P comment? Marin, do you do a lot of catering at the bakery? Or is it more just like people coming in and out for like single servings? Are they only in Canada? They're not in Canada. They're in upstate New York or close to Buffalo. How specific do you want me to be, Marin? Can anyone in Western New York? Lockport? Yeah, check it out. There is a Buffalo Sabres game in March. Ottawa in Buffalo. Might get in the car, strap in the donkey in the passenger seat, stop by a bakery. Although, Morgan, I looked it up, the donkey place doesn't open until, I think, the first Sunday in May. And I think that's Mother's Day. So, not to be presumptuous, but maybe Mother's Day isn't the day to go to the donkey sanctuary. So we're probably looking at May at the earliest for the donkeys. And apple fritters. And whatever else Waterloo has to offer. Ben. Ben is ready for Waterloo. Is Waterloo ready for Ben? And Maddie. Is Maddie ready for Ben? I don't know. Did I miss the book review, or is Ben spiraling? The first 30 minutes was book club. Victor, get a clue. All right, do we care about the Grammys? I gotta be honest, I don't really care about the Grammys. But maybe if I look up who won what, I will care a little bit. Grammys winners list. What site do I trust? People? Or just Google? Alright, album of the year. Nominees were by Andre 3000, Beyonce for Cowboy Carter, Short and Sweet, Sabrina Carpenter, Brat, Charlie XCX, Da Jessie Volume 4 by Jacob Collier, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Billie Eilish, Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, Chapel Roan, The Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift. And the winner is Beyonce. Unexpected. I don't really follow Grammys politics the way I kind of follow Oscar stuff. Did feel like this probably could have been Sabrina Carpenter or Chapel Roan. Not shocked Taylor Swift. I don't think she won anything, right? I think Brat was a long shot. Jacob Collier. And this Billie Eilish album is really good, but I'm also not surprised she didn't win. This kind of... Man, maybe you'll not like me saying this, but... This kind of feels like making up for Beyonce not winning in prior years. So I think people are generally happy for her, even if there's kind of like this, maybe this album wasn't the best. Is that fair to say? I feel like a lot of people feel this way, just maybe they don't want to say it. That's the general opinion as to why she got it? Okay, yeah, Yeah. That's too bad, though, right? Because then I guess the time you win feels like it was a bit of a consolation. I feel that way about like DiCaprio winning for The Revenant, which is definitely not his best performance, but just sort of a recognition that he really should have won an Oscar for Best Actor at some point. But it kind of sucks for... Who do you think should have won? It's not that there's someone who, like, definitely should have won instead of Beyonce. But it did feel like Sabrina Carpenter and Chapel Roan and even Charlie XCX had... Those albums were bigger and more impactful and culturally relevant, I think. I think a lot of you are going to say Chapel Roan, probably. Or Billie Eilish, yeah? If it was me, it's probably Billie Eilish. Definitely not Taylor Swift, though, right? Can we agree this album was not her strongest work? Record of the year, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. That is a weird choice. I think people think I'm, like, against rap, maybe. And I guess maybe I am. I'm not really a fan of hip-hop in general. But this song, like, I guess it's catchy, but it's kind of just like... unsubstantiated claims that someone's a child predator as a song. Really weird to see this song getting recognition in this way. Especially over some, like, strong contenders. That is very strange. Also, super bizarre to see a Beatles song nominated for the Grammys in 2025. It's by the Beatles and AI. Song of the Year. Not Like Us? Oh, good. It won the 2 major single song awards. Yikes. Best New Artist, Chappell Roan. Okay, that's an easy one. Not Shabuzi? What about Shabuzi? Actually, who is this? How do you say this? Daichi? Dochi? I've heard this name, or I've seen this name come up here and there as I go from town to town. And I've never gotten used to it. I've just learned to turn it off. Either I'm too sensitive or else I'm getting soft. Dochi? Doichi? Doichi? Super Mario and Doichi? Dochi. Yeah, I don't think there's an E in the middle. It's got to be Dochi, not Doichi. Anyway, I've heard they do some interesting stuff. I'm gonna have to check that out. You should listen to her NPR Tiny Desk. I can do that. That's usually a good indication if someone's actually talented. But it's Chappell. I saw Chappell Roan give a speech about, like, giving artists healthcare, which is pretty cool. Though I still think she's an industry plant. Don't tell anyone. I think it's all strategic. I think she pretended to have a fight with that photographer. Producer of the Year, Daniel Negro. Unfortunate name. Songwriter of the Year, Amy Allen. Who is that? Pop solo performance, Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter. Okay. Could have been that or Apple. Best pop duo, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. This was a thing? Guess is the only one I really know. Huh. Okay. Okay. Short and sweet. I think these are all the major awards. Come and gone. Right? All right. Now I got to ask you a question. Do you want to watch a movie tonight that is related to The Sun Also Rises, Hemingway? Or would you rather I just watch hockey tonight? Because I forgot there was a hockey game. Or would you rather forget about this Woody Allen movie and be like, hey, you promised me tonight was about, or this month was about women. I was gonna watch hockey, not gonna lie. Yeah, it's on Amazon, and they always do a good job of the production on Mondays. So yeah, I think I'm gonna either cancel or postpone the movie tonight and watch hockey. So really the question is, do you want to watch? Do you care about Midnight in Paris? You're like, I can ask it. Do you want to watch Midnight in Paris maybe tomorrow? Or movies about women starting this week? Woody Allen or women? That's a tough poll. Yes, it is Senators versus Predators tonight on Amazon Prime. I don't support Woody Allen. Yeah, I don't support him as a person. Do you ever consume art by people you don't like or you think are bad people? Something I've kind of struggled with, I guess, at times. The wording may bias the poll results. Yeah, that's fair. I probably could have worded this differently. A lot of people think Midnight in Paris is a nice whimsical movie. Although I tend not to like anything whimsical. I'm struggling off with the Neil Gaiman news. Yeah, I've seen that. There's a really big Canadian author, Alice Munro, that in the past few years has come out was a pretty terrible person to her own child in a way that I think a lot of people are questioning their appreciation of her work now, sort of knowing she's a bad person. I need more whimsy in my life? How am I gonna get it? Eating apple fritters? I hate Woody Allen, but I'm curious about the movie. Yeah, like Annie Hall is a great movie. Like, Woody Allen has made good movies. I'm not gonna pretend that's not true, right? Just like Roman Polanski is a very talented filmmaker. But I don't know, can you enjoy the art when you know the artist is a terrible person? I think you kind of can, but I also understand wanting to draw a line of just not wanting anything to do with them or not giving them any patronage. All right, sounds like people just want to move on to women. So that's okay. That's acceptable. So I'll watch hockey tonight. And The Substance. I still haven't seen The Substance. I've been putting it off. Let's watch The Substance this week. Maybe Friday or this weekend. Let me bounce that around in my dome a little bit. Just bounce it around in the Chrome Dome. Anyway, thank you again for everyone who took the time to come to Toronto. It was fun. Not sure, we don't do these things too often, so I try to soak it in a little bit, And thank you for the gifts, the cookies, the other people who left us things, little knit hats and all that. You really don't have to do things like that, but thank you anyway. All right, doot doodle-oot doo. Go Sens.